Okay, so I had a couple of questions about how we set up some of the Pilots N Paws flights. I wanted to do a quick video about it. It's actually really simple. First thing you have to do is go to the Pilots N Paws website and set up a profile. It's much like setting up a profile on any other type of website, social media, whatever. So the website looks like this, and you can come down here to view flight requests once you get to there. And this is what's currently up for the last 3 days. You can back it out for the last 5 days, 7 days, whatever. A lot of the stuff, if it's over 7 days old, has pretty much been covered. Then we zoom into the area that generally is around where we start. That being down in this area around San Diego, Temecula. The aircraft is actually, the Baron is up here in French Valley, which is up around in this area. So anything in the Los Angeles area tends to be something that's open for us. We don't look for something specifically going out of either Carlsbad or Oceanside or French Valley, because those are few and far between. But you can see there are several that need to go either into or out of the area. And then you just click on one of them and it will pull up the listing in the message boards about what it is. A lot of times they post a picture of the animal that needs to be transported, or the animals. And it gives the details of it. This one is listed as Mountain View to Palm Springs. Who's listing it? This one's done by Lynn Stab, who we've worked with many times. You can find out this poodle mix, 7 years old, 14-pound dog. Then it gives contact information down here for the person in charge of the transport, sending and receiving parties, whether or not they're 501c, which doesn't really matter because Pilots N Paws itself is a 501c. So anything done from this message board becomes a 501c3 donation flight, and you'd have to talk to your tax person about that, but pretty much all the expenses that go through these flights is tax deductible. Again, don't take my words on specifics on that, talk to your tax person, but anything that you do, be it the flight out or an empty flight back or an empty flight up to pick up something and come back, is all part of the same thing, and all goes into the same 501c3 record keeping. And I will put a response in on the message boards, but I will also either send them a text or an email and ask her about it. If you have a specific date that you're looking for, you're generally going to have to put out a bunch of different feelers. You know, usually what I'll say is I might be able to do this on this date and see who gets back to me, and whoever gets back to me first is generally where I'm going to go. And if only one of them gets back to you, then obviously you can do that. Then it becomes about working out the details, getting contact information for the people who are sending the animal, which is usually listed, the person that's receiving, and those specifics. Where are they going to meet you? What airport do they need to be coming from? I'll usually go to ForeFlight, which I have a subscription for, and I can do all of my flight planning here on the computer as well as on my iPad. And you come down here and you can look and see, okay, well that dog's coming from Fresno, so we'll come up here and we'll look around in the Fresno area. And this is Fresno right here, and you can see there are several small airports around Fresno, and you just pick whichever one you think is best. For us, we've been in and out of Fresno Chandler many times. There's no landing fee. Fuel is moderately cheap, and start to work out the details between the sender and the receiver. Who's going to drop them off at Fresno? What time is best for you to be there? What time is best for, you know, the person on the next end of the flight to be there? And it's really not that difficult. Once you get all this stuff worked out, it's just about working out the details and then making it happen. You might have to fly a little bit. Usually down around in here, if we've got something that's coming or going into the Los Angeles area, you can see there's a whole lot of different airports up here. a lot of the northern Los Angeles rescues want to go in and out of Van Nuys. For us, one of the best airports is Brackett Field in Pomona, right there. We choose that because, again, there's no landing fee. It's really easy to land, park, get the airplane loaded up, and then just blast right back off. For us, that's starting from here and going up to there. It's about 40 miles, 35 miles, and takes about 20 minutes to fly up there. That's generally what you're going to have to do when you start to figure out these flights. Where are they going? What's in your general area? Some of the other pointers that I would give to people, especially who are just starting out and have never done a Pilots N Paws flight, expect there to be accidents. We've had a couple of dogs that have pooped in the airplane. It's not much you can do about it. You know, you just have to expect that this may happen. This is one of the reasons that I always do these flights with somebody. Kim and I are always together on this. I'll never do one solo because I might not be able to take care of something that happens during the flight and needs to be taken care of. Get different things for the airplane. There's different types of blankets or different types of, there's actually a hammock, and Kim got a hammock that goes between the front and back seats and just hooks onto the seat backs, and it covers all of the interior, so it keeps it from getting damaged by anything that might happen with the dogs or with the carrier that's put in there or anything like that. The last transport that we had several big steel carriers, and one of which was sitting on the back seat on the brand new leather interior. But didn't have to worry about it because the blanket will keep it safe. So have cleaning supplies on you, have paper towels, have maybe some wet wipes, some air freshener. Don't give the animals food and water just before you get on the airplane because that's asking for an accident to happen. But carry water with you so that when you get to where you're going, if you have, they make these little collapsible water dishes, plan for more time than you think it's going to take. Give yourself some fudge factor in the en route time. We usually add about 15 minutes. And then we have gotten to the point where we tell ourselves it's going to be an hour to turn on the ground because there's always, you know, some chit chat that goes on, pictures that want to, you know, people want pictures taken. So you always have to give yourself a little bit more time. But other than that, this is really not a difficult thing. It's not hard to organize and put these together. You just have to be willing to travel a little bit. You have to be willing to ask for what makes things work for you. And then you have to be willing to, you know, do some flight planning and put it all together. But that's part of why we do this, part of the fun. You know, this has to all be on your own time and your own dime. The person receiving the animal can't pay for your landing fee. They can't give you any money for fuel, nothing like that. So we all know that this is not a Part 135 operation. This is not a charter. This is something that you are giving. And the FAA was very strict at first about allowing for any kind of tax write-off or anything because they said that was a form of compensation. But they did eventually give in on that and say that they understood that this was something that was being done as a charitable donation, and so they allow us to write off these flights. What could be better? You know, you get to go out and fly your airplane and have some fun, do something really good for these animals that need it, and it's a tax write-off.